What's up, boss, and welcome back to the Luxe Boss Channel. I hope that you guys are doing good, and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. As you can see from the title, y'all, this is the long awaited Q&A video that y'all have been waiting for since 2002. Okay, you've been waiting for this video since like circa 6 months ago, 8 months. Like, y'all have been waiting for this Q&A video for the longest time. So let me just give like a little bit of backstory real quick in regards to this Q&A. This Q&A was supposed to be done initially the first time back in January, and I was supposed to do the Q&A on I was supposed to post it here, and I was also supposed to post it on Instagram. I sent y'all a long message about why I was not posting the Q&A, yada yada. That happened. Then I was supposed to post the Q&A last month and also did not do it, and over time new questions have formed. And so my manager, aka my fifi, aka my fiance, he was like, why don't you break the Q&A down into segments? And the reason I was procrastinating doing it is because it began to be so many questions. Like, when I get a question, I would put it inside of my notebook, or I would like screenshot it and have a whole bunch of screenshots in my phone of different questions, whether it be from Instagram, email, YouTube, whatever. Whenever I see a question that is like a universal question, that is something that everyone kind of might want to know, I kind of started to save it on different, in different spots. And it began to get so overwhelming, and I was like, Jamal, I think I'm procrastinating doing this video because I cannot sit down to film the video. Like, this is gonna take a ton of years to get done. And so he was like, why don't you break it into segments, babe? Like, you kind of doing the most. Okay, so yeah, basically the Q&A is gonna be broken down just over the next couple of months. You might see a few Q&As pop up here and there. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump right into this Q&A. Before we do that, if you're new, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hopefully something is said throughout the video that helps you, or a question is answered that you might just be wondering yourself. I don't know. If you are already a part of our family, thanks for coming back, and I'm so grateful that you guys clicked on this video as well. Okay, so let's just start the gate out. Let's just start out the gate with the number one question. I think I have probably gotten this question at least 100 times, and this is one of the most asked questions. This question gets in my inbox a lot, in my personal inbox, in my business inbox. I get this question all the time, and I get this question majority of the time because of that video, because a lot of people watch that video, they just automatically go to Luxe Glow thinking they're gonna see one thing, and they see something completely different, and they like, what happened, sis? Tell us. So today we're gonna spill the story, because I know that's why you're here. That's why majority of you are here. That's why majority of you watching this probably asked me that question. And the question is simply, why did you stop selling charm bangles or charm bracelets or accessories in general? The question kind of consumes itself into one. So I'm gonna make this short, because I feel like one of the other things that was procrastinating me into doing this video is the fact that I have found myself in a new place in life, and answering this question kind of trigger some things for me. I know it sounds real deep, and you're probably like, Taylor, really? Unnecessary. Answer the question. But no, seriously, it triggers some things for me, and I feel like it's just a long drawn out story for no reason. And so I feel like I have to explain, like, y'all should see me when people come up to me that I know and ask me like, girl, why you don't sell accessories or bangles anymore? And then I have to sit there and explain this to them. So I practiced a shorter version for when people ask this question, and I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give y'all a little, some extra details in there as well, but here we go. So Luxe Glow initially started out as an accessory line, right? This started, of course, in January of last year. We just reached our anniversary, so that's that. But we've been in business for a while now. And Luxe Glow, no, not last year, at the beginning of 2020, obviously, is when the business launched. So at the beginning of 2020, that is when we started out with accessories, and we were doing glosses. It was supposed to be more accessories and like cosmetics, but things changed. And skincare. Skincare was always going to be a part of Luxe Glow. I just didn't know it was going to be this much of a part of Luxe Glow. And maybe I'll do an entire story time later on and into how like I got into skincare. But skincare is not something that I just kind of woke up one day and was like, girl, I'm gonna make turmeric soap. No, it's not. It doesn't go like that. This dates back from when I was a very, very young child with my great grandmother. My fiance the same with his grandmother. This dates back for us quite some time, and it's so crazy how I don't like to say God is crazy, or I don't like to say things are crazy. I am trying to train myself not to say crazy. It's a story behind that. Everything is so deep with me now. Where was this at? I don't know. But anyway, I'm trying to train myself not to say that. There we go. But it's so God in his infinite wisdom brought the two of us together, and our stories, while they're completely different, they have so many similarities. And so the business has just evolved over the past couple of months. Since this past January, it's just evolved quite a bit. So it started out with accessories and glosses. It was supposed to be more cosmetic. I didn't intentionally think that skincare would be this big and this important, but it is, because it's always been important. But I've always been that girl that's been obsessed with accessories. Something that I can share this with y'all, I guess. Something that I'm trying to like really embrace and enhance now is the fact that I have a certain feminine quality to me. Something that I've tried to like compress and shy away from out of shame or whatever. So I've always been into like, you know, skincare, accessories, makeup. It's always been a part of me. If you know the story, then you know the story about the business plan that I wrote back when I was in college, and it encompassed all of these things. So when I started Luxe Glow, I was like, the business just gonna have everything in it. Let's just be realistic. You're not gonna see Nike selling lip gloss. You're just not. So that's just where like my mindset came when it came to the rebranding. Now, here we go. Boom. So in September of last year, I noticed that I picked up more on wholesale charms and all that stuff. I really picked up more on it before then, but I picked up on it then to a point where it was flowing a little cash flow. And I think most people who get into charms have that in the back of their mind, that they're gonna start selling wholesale, let's just be real, and it's gonna bring in cash flow, and it did just that. It became almost like, I don't want to use this word, but I'm gonna say it. I'm putting myself out there, and I'm just gonna tell y'all, it became kind of an addiction for me to buy charms. I would get my payout from Shopify, and I was like, you know what, I gotta buy some more. I gotta buy some more. I gotta buy some more. When, you know, I was also trying to build the skincare portion of Luxe Glow. We had started skincare at the time, but it was very minimal. It wasn't anything crazy. I had gotten let down by a couple of like vendors I tried, and it was a mess. And then but this is not about skincare, so let's just leave that there. Anyway, this was like over the summer, it just got really robust. Even my charm sale, like my bangle sales, like from the entire time I did bangles, I'm not gonna lie to you, things were kind of smooth because they were smooth and they were extremely popular. And now that I'm out of it, I kind of see that it's just like, it's everywhere. Like everybody that you know, people that I know I went to college with, people that I know I went to elementary, like people all over have bangle business or accessory businesses now, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's a form of business. It's a form of creativity that you could choose as a business. So, you know, I was still dibbling and dabbling in skincare, all that stuff. Charms were still picking up, and I was constantly like seeking God for my purpose and seeking him for just what I was supposed to do next, because I honestly was bored. Okay, I had become so bored with like my content. I had become so bored with YouTube. I think I had even took like almost a 2-month little break, and then I just kind of popped back up in like the end of September, October, something like that. But for months, God had been telling me like, you need to stop this. And I have an issue with hearing God say stuff, and it's almost like he has to tell me 10,000 times before I get it. And that's just like, I should just trust him enough to know that he knows what he's doing, because he is who he is, right? So he'd been telling me to stop for a very long time. Now, something that I also have learned, and I think God is showing me, I'm hard-headed. And so you know, when you don't do something, he begins to start pulling the comfortability, and he begins to start snatching some of that stuff from up under you, because I'm steady telling you to get up off of that, and you steady trying to make yourself comfortable in that, and I don't want you there. Your purpose is not there. Your growth and your next level in life, where I have you to go next, is not there. And so he just start pulling stuff, and he's not pulling it in the sense of like, oh, I'm gonna make sure you get no sales, or I'm gonna make sure you know, don't grow on Instagram, or I'm gonna make sure, like, he's not doing it in that way. He's doing it in the events that are happening. So I don't have exact dates, and I'm not getting ready to go down exact dates because it's petty and I'm not thinking about it. But basically, I was threatened a couple times by people because I wouldn't give them like vendor lists and things of that nature. A few people scammed me. When I say scammed, like big time, like I mean like a couple $100 scammed me out of some charms they purchased. They posted on Instagram that they had received me, tagged me in the story saying thank you to my new vendor. The next day I got a charge back from Shopify, and first of all, when I saw the purchase, Shopify did not send me like a notice. You know, Shopify will tell you like, this is a suspect order, scam order, whatever. You know, you could either return this order and decline to fill it, or you're not. They didn't notify me that of anything. So when I saw the order and I woke up the next morning, I'm like, oh my God, are you sure you don't want me to do this? Because do you see this? What I just got today is what I would have, you know, made over the course of 3 days at my job. Like, I was really just feeling myself, right? And little did I know that once the person got their order, they were gonna charge back. And guess who won? They won. I don't know why Shopify did not agree with me. The person did purchase through PayPal, and so I did have to do like, you know, disputes through PayPal, and it was something that happened on my part. I messed up, and I was 1 day late from responding to the PayPal when PayPal sent you an email telling you that you need to respond to the dispute, you need to respond to the dispute, honey. But yeah, I can tell y'all now this video is going to be over 20 minutes because I'm looking at this thing now and it's just over with. So basically, I was threatened a couple times. A couple different other events happened. A couple of chargebacks happened. Chargebacks happened from different people. This one young girl, I could tell she was about 15 or 16. Y'all, she has threatened me on Instagram. Mind you, it was an age thing. Especially like, you know, I was looking at myself one day and I was like, you're gonna be 24 next year. I don't really see myself making charm bangles in my house with my man, like with my husband. Like, I just didn't see that. I just didn't see that for myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. People have successful accessory lines and bangle businesses and all that type of stuff. For me personally though, that's just not where God was guiding me. So it's no offense to anyone. I don't want y'all to take that as offense. But yeah, I had a couple different events of threats, chargebacks back to back. When I tell y'all back to back, and it wasn't just on wholesale, it was on Bangles as well. And these people were actually tagging me in their stuff. And then I would go back and be like, no, Shopify, no, PayPal, Shopify, look, they tagged me and if they said they got it, I will be blocked. Stuff like that. It just was irritating me so much. And granted, that could still happen to this day with skincare. It could still happen to this day with a wholesale order. But I also realized that I needed to change my audience and my target audience and my, you know, the persona of my ideal customer, because I was pretty much catering to like the 15 to, you know, young, early 20s age group, and it just wasn't working. And I was like, I felt a sense of like, I just was very much so overwhelmed, disappointed in the experience that I had, and just really hurt because I had put in a lot of work to kind of build a business, and I just knew in my mind, and y'all saw me kept trying to hold on to wanting to maintain skincare and accessories when the passion was always for skincare. I mean, I've still loved accessories, and I've told you guys several times before, I never know. I don't know what God has for me next. He might have me to start an accessory line later in the future, much later, and it'd be completely different from what Luxe Glow was. But for what Luxe Glow needed to serve or provide for me at the time that it was providing it, it did just that. It just is when God told me to let it go, I didn't want to let it go, and I was trying so hard. I was like fighting tooth and nail to try to hold on to it, and eventually I just was like, I can't do this anymore. And once I let it go, it was a very freeing experience. Now, before you do the same thing as me and go rebranding your business and changing your business, realize that it's still going to become it's still going to become somewhat of a struggle. And this is not to try to make you feel insecure or put down, but I can guarantee you, like, for me personally, I saw like a real, of course the numbers were completely different for me. I lost a lot of followers, y'all. By now I should be at like 15K. I'm not kidding. I'm so serious. And that's not to say it like that, but that's where I was headed to. I've lost over maybe 3,000 or 4,000 followers since January, which it took me a long time to grow my platform. And you know, I just had to kind of deal with it and learn and just embrace the new level or new place that God was taking me. But like I said, there was a lot that went into the reason why I actually stopped the business, but majority of it was all the experiences that I had kind of combined together, and that kind of were end up, you know, put together, that I just couldn't take anymore. It was the threats, it was the emails like, give me your vendor. Like, ma'am, I am 20 plus years old. Like, you cannot say give me your vendor. Who are you, like, who are you talking to? It was a lot of events like that, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was really done with the whole situation, and it kind of just put a bitter taste in my mouth. Like, there were days I didn't even want to come down and make sets. Like, there were days my website was empty because it was just like, I have no creativity left in me, and my focus just really quickly became skincare and just trying to improve it and go back to my roots, because this is literally my roots. When I tell y'all this is my roots, like, this skincare and self-care, I'm so serious. One day I'm gonna sit down and tell you guys the story and tell you all about my great grandmother, because y'all should know about her, and tell you about just my mother and my aunt and how they poured into me self-care and skincare and the whole 9 yards. I feel like that deserves a story in itself. But yeah, that's why I dealt with a lot. I dealt with a lot of stuff when it came to bangles and charm bracelets, and you know, one lady, she I'm not gonna put that out. I'm not gonna say that. I don't even know if she watches my channel. But people were just doing some really shady stuff, and just doing a lot of stuff. And some of the stuff y'all know about, like stealing all of my posts off Instagram and reposting it. I think I had about 3 or 4 accounts that were made that had the name Luxe Glow on them. And to me, I wasn't even popping. There are so many other like charm bangle, like, I was also very insecure about it, because I always felt like, you know, well, I wasn't always insecure about it, but toward the end I was definitely insecure about my business, because I just felt like, you know, it was just, like I said, it was just overwhelming. And there are so many like other bomb bangle businesses that I'm sure you guys know of that are out there, and so I just felt like you want to steal from me? Like, you want to steal my pictures? Like, they weren't just stealing like wholesale pictures, they were stealing like my designs and stuff. Like, I would sit down here and really be creative. Y'all have seen me like really sit down here, you know, 10 o'clock at night trying to like make the absolute cutest bangles, the bomb, like the just most beautiful bangles that I felt, and people would like screenshot them, and I would even put watermarks on them. And this one girl went to take all my pictures, remove the watermarks. Like, I would have my, like, y'all, like, really? Like, y'all really? And it just became too much. It was like, I'm not getting in this world. I'm not about to do this. And there was another concern for me, like, are some of these brands gonna come after me a couple years later because of these designer charms? Like, let me not deal with that. Let me just not even play myself and like do that. And that's what, there was a lot of stuff that went into it. I became convicted over that as well, because I was like, how am I gonna get upset with somebody taking my brand and taking my pictures, but I'm taking symbols, and you know, I don't know what this symbol means to X, you know, to X designer. I don't know what that means to them, and I'm taking that to create something of my own. They're taking my stuff to create something of their own. So it's like, I became very much so convicted, and I think that was just a level of maturity that I was going through. Like, I definitely had, and a lot of you say it like in comments, which you don't really realize it for real until people say it, but you can see like the difference between like late last year to me now, even in my videos. But I'm growing up, and I feel like I'm growing up in front of you guys, so that's kind of interesting too. But yeah, that was a very long story. I feel like there should be a part 1 and 2 to this video. I feel like I should end it right here, like right now. Like, this is golden opportunity to end this video. But yeah, I just grew out of it, and there were a lot of things, and God just kind of pushed me to it. Now, when I tell y'all I'm so grateful to be in the spot that I am in now, having that opportunity to have the business for that, you know, have Luxe Glow be what it was then, has kind of built me, you know, a group of amazing people who still support me, didn't care that I switched it up. There were some that did, clearly, because they left, but the other people did not care. You know, my skincare line is thriving and flourishing, and I can tell you that I feel like my skincare line is just helping so many people. That just makes it feel so much more worth it. And just the fact that I've learned 10 times over everything that I've lost. I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to just become stronger in my business, and I definitely did that by just letting go of the thing that was no longer serving me. And I guess that's just like a little life lesson, just to let go of the things that are no longer serving you. When you hear him telling you to stop doing X, Y, and Z and just trust him to do it, it's the hardest thing to do. I promise you, it's the hardest thing to do. I know it firsthand. When I tell y'all I know firsthand, it's the hardest thing to do. God has told me to do stuff. He told me to do something recently, and it took me over 4 months to even do that. So it's hard. But when you do it and you realize what he wanted you to benefit from it, and you realize what he wanted you to learn from it, I learned so much then that it has transcended over into this business. And I have, you know, been able to, you know, grow from it. Yes, it's been some growing pains in the transition, as stated, but it was worth it. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't go back for anything. And at the end of the day, there are so many other bangle businesses out there that I feel like, you know, I gave what I needed to give when it was time to give it. And then I had dropped the mic and I was done. But there are still plenty of opportunity and room. Now you really have to be creative. It's kind of like YouTube. Like, you know, people say, how many makeup videos am I gonna watch? Well, how creative are you with the video? How is your content different? Is your intro different? Is your you know, your audience different? Now you have to really be creative in this business. I have seen so many businesses that they sell charm bangles and they sell bracelets and they sell accessories, but when I tell you their branding is on point, I crave for the day when Luxe Glow's branding is like on point, because we still growing over here. So, you know, but there are some bangle businesses out there, big and small, their branding is so on point. Now you have to really come in this thing planned out. You cannot come in half doing it, because these girls is not coming to play when it comes to these accessory businesses, okay? I have seen them, I have purchased from some of them, and it's like you have to really have your stuff planned out. You really have to be on top of it. I will link some of and I just want to make this disclaimer and say it with as much like authority and assertiveness. I just learned that in marriage counseling, y'all, how to speak with authority and assertiveness. I'm being for real. I'm saying this, but this will be my last time speaking about bangles or charm bracelets or the accessory business in general. It's not to be mean, but I feel like I have touched on it enough and talked about it enough and addressed questions regarding it enough that there's enough out there, right? And it's not just, you know, it's not just, oh, you just don't want to talk about it. You just don't want to drop the details. You just don't want to spill the tea. You just don't want to help the next person. I will gladly help you. People slide in my DMs all the time, and I still drop vendors and everything else. I'm giving it to you for free. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to hold on to something that I know is out there readily available to you. And, you know, I have preached before, research, and I guess that's not sticking. But on this platform here, and on Instagram, this will be the last time I talk about it. No more outwardly like this. I might mention like, oh, you know, who would have thought Luxe Glow, da da da. But as far as like talking about it in this capacity, I'm done. And same goes for glosses. The reason that we stopped selling glosses, I got this question as well. I got this question a couple times in comments, but also on the Q&A question post. The reason that we stopped selling glosses is because my fiance was coming onto board, and we had a really long conversation about branding and product and what we saw for the business later on down the line. And out of compromise and just out of really thinking things through, cosmetics was not something that should be sticking with this brand. Because the focus here is skincare, body care, hair care. That's the focus of Luxe Glow. And I did not want to come and add cosmetics on in the back end, because eventually it would have got left behind. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm gonna do cosmetics, it deserves, just like accessories, it deserves its own right to grow. And so eventually, God, who knows, God might find it down the line for me to have a cosmetics line. Low-key, some of y'all have already found my cosmetics line. It's not open yet, just throwing that out there. But if you found it, you found it. If you didn't, I'm not saying anything about it until that time comes. It'll be months before you guys hear anything about that. But anyway, so yeah, it deserves its own place to grow, and I don't want to keep mashing things up, you know. And I want to be able to, if I'm gonna have multiple businesses, just have multiple businesses. Stop trying to combine. Like I said, you would not see Nike selling lip glosses, you wouldn't see Nike selling couches. If the owner of Nike wanted to create a separate brand, they would just go create a separate brand. They're not getting ready to try to mash this stuff up. So that was the biggest thing, or the biggest part for me personally, was just trying not to overcompensate for dreams that I had, and trying to mash a whole bunch of stuff together just to make myself feel good that I was, you know, accomplishing everything, or tackling everything that I wanted to do in life. I have an entire life, and I'm just gonna, if God sees for me to open more businesses down the line, then that's what I would do. But as of today, the focus is this one right here. Like, this is the focus. So that's that. I think I'm gonna end this video. We're gonna call this part 1, and I'm gonna go ahead and film part 2 right now as I'm sitting here, because I feel like that was a lot and it was a long explanation, but hopefully it still helps somebody. That was one of the most asked questions. I can guarantee I've been asked that question 100 times, why I stopped my accessory business. I technically didn't, but I did. I just rebranded and changed everything to what I was really focused on, which is skincare. So yeah, if you guys are interested, as always, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would visit the Luxe Glow website. We have so many new things over there. If you're not following us on Instagram, also make sure you follow us on Instagram, because the new summer collection is coming out very soon, the new summer body butters. So that's the Travel Vibes collection. Is coming out very soon, at the end of this month, actually, on the 31st. 31st is a Monday or a Sunday, one of the two, I can't think. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and I will start part 2 in just a few minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching part 1. If you are interested, make sure you stay over for part 2, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.